Hello everybody, welcome to Comic Book Syndicate. This is your co-host Michael, and as always I'm joined by
Joshua Mervell, and today we're going to be taking a look at the DC movie, The Flash.
That's right, and this will not be released to the public until after the strike is done.
That's
but
correct.
The film was released mid-June, and as everybody knows, it's one of the biggest superhero box office bombs in history. Which we're not going to talk too much about. We're just going to talk about it as a movie. There's so much backstory to this. I believe it was 5 years, not to the day, but 5 years almost to the month since the project was announced. They've delayed this film so many times. We're not really going to talk about that, I mean, unless you really want to, but I'm just going to point out something that not a lot of reviewers have pointed out. That I've come across, and that's that the same week they announced this film, the TV show premiered on TV. Okay? The one starring, what's his name?
Right.
What's his name again?
Grant Gustin.
Grant Gustin. Now that was, I'm not sure if did you watch that show when it was out?
No.
Okay, because I was a big fan of the first few seasons of Arrow. And
so it came out the same time that they announced this movie?
Okay, this is how it went. Arrow came out. It was a huge hit. Then a couple years later, they launched The Flash. It was the very week. It was a smash hit. It comes out. Everyone's excited about it. And so Warner Brothers goes, you like that? Well, guess what? Now we're going to announce a big budget feature film starring a different actor.
Really?
Yes. And everyone was like,
so they announced this movie like 8-9 years ago now?
No, like 5 to 7. Whenever the TV show came out. Whenever the
2014.
TV show.
That's 9 years ago now.
That's when they announced it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, and the thing is, even Tom Brevoort from, the editor of Marvel, like one of the highest editors of Marvel, he said it takes a special kind of stupid to make that announcement the week that the TV show premieres, and it's such a big hit.
Yeah.
And it's true. And the thing is, and I love DC Comics, but the way that Warner Brothers has adapted their characters, to me, they've done almost everything wrong. Now, you could argue, well, DC doesn't want to have a shared universe, which is I'm all for. Like, I don't necessarily love shared universes, but if you're going to do a shared universe, don't have a competing shared universe with different actors. And when Arrow is successful and Flash is successful and Supergirl is successful, why don't you build on those and go, okay, we're going to do feature films of Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, but then we're going to take these second string superheroes and build on their popularity. No, we're just going to gut those, get different actors, right?
Why not? I mean, they've already started like bringing in other characters into this movie, right? Like they brought a bunch of things into The Flash that have nothing to do with Flash or even the current slate of DC projects. Right. So why not include these characters? I mean, Ezra Miller's Flash was in the Flash TV show.
Yes.
So why not bring Grant Gustin's Flash into the Flash movie? Like, it doesn't make any sense. They even have a whole sequence where they're flashing, pun intended, to other universes and showing different versions of the characters. Why was he not included? Why not have him be the other Flash?
Great question.
You have two Flashes in this movie.
Okay, so
strange.
Again, I don't want to get into too much of the politics. I'm just going to say from my point of view what I see. Besides the huge mistakes we just mentioned, what happens is they announced this film. I believe at one point it might have been called Flashpoint. I'm not sure, but
maybe. I know it was also called The Flash and Cyborg as well at one point.
I didn't know
it was supposed to be like a buddy cop movie, I guess. Okay. Does Cyborg not have a bigger role in the Flashpoint story?
I don't remember, honestly. I don't. It's been a long time. I actually forgot they adapted this into an animated movie, but everyone's raving about that now. But I can also point out, not only was this adapted into an animated movie, it was the focus of the first season of a Flash TV show. Like the whole thing is ridiculous. Okay, so not only that, but they announced Flashpoint as the story for the first Flash movie, which is, again, idiotic. You don't announce a Spider-Man film and then make the first Spider-Man movie about the black costume or about Gwen Stacy dying. There are so
many... Or the first
many...
Justice League movie about the death of Superman.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. It's idiotic. Like, you've got to build towards these things in order for them to have any kind of meaning. So anyway, on top of that, that was a mistake. Then what happens is Marvel does Spider-Man No Way Home, and they bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. So then DC goes, oh, wait a minute, we've got to compete with this. I know what we'll do. We'll bring back Michael Keaton as Batman, which makes perfect sense. And for me, it was exciting, and for my generation, it was exciting. Now, somebody, it might have been another YouTube channel, said that they don't think that the Michael Keaton Batman was as exciting to audiences as Warner hoped because the character is so old. I mean, 30 years is a long time. But my argument is, if that logic were true, then why were people so excited about Harrison Ford as Han Solo in Star Wars? Right? And I personally, because it's been, and here's another thing. Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones bombed. But it's been exactly as many years since The Last Crusade. Okay, that's actually countering my argument. But my point is that people were excited about Michael Keaton as Batman, and when they saw the trailer, they were excited. But I think so many things since then have sabotaged this. One of them being, Ezra Miller's career and
antics,
personal life going down the toilet.
Yeah,
that's one thing. James Gunn, whom I love, coming out and saying, oh, by the way, the next 3 or 4 movies don't count because we're rebooting them all. That didn't help, right? And then also Warner Brothers canceling the completed $90 million Batgirl movie, which co-starred Michael Keaton as Batman. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like Warner Brothers was setting up Michael Keaton as like the second coming, which, I would have been fine with. But James Gunn decided we need to start fresh. Let's just gut all this, which is fine. But maybe wait until the movie comes out before you tell audiences that it's completely irrelevant.
Yeah, right? I think that definitely has something to do with it. I think that also we're hitting a nostalgia fatigue.
Sure,
it's not. I think at this point it is not a superhero fatigue. It is this like nostalgia callback reboot fatigue that's going on right now that is just way overpowering. Like, sure. I never thought I would be not excited to see an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, I was like, I think this is so kind of boring and like unoriginal at this point that I didn't even want to go see it.
Right.
And I love Michael Keaton. I think that the Batman and Batman Returns is one of my are up there for my favorite depictions of Batman. I love those movies.
Absolutely,
they're fantastic. And while I was happy to see Michael Keaton back, it did not draw me to see this movie. We're recording this in September
yes.
to kind of like break the illusion. Who knows when this is going to be released at this point? But I waited. I did not go see this in theaters. I waited until I was able to get a copy at home because I just did not want to really watch it. I don't know. Sure. I'm just kind of over it at this point. So Michael Keaton didn't even bring me back in. And I think I would have been disappointed a little bit if I did go see it because I thought he did a pretty okay job. Which we'll talk
about later.
Okay, sure.
But let's just focus on our feelings going in. So you were not excited.
No.
It's actually hard. I feel like when Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen, he can see the future, but there's something that happens that like makes his memories fuzzy after that.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie like destroyed my brain for all of June. I don't remember what I was thinking before or after, but I do know that going in, I knew I wouldn't enjoy the movie, but I was still excited about Michael Keaton. Okay, I was really excited, but going in, I knew there was going to be trouble. I honestly did not think it would do as bad as it has because I remember one of the things I said to you after I saw it was 100% this is better than Transformers, the new Transformers, and I still believe that. But we're going to talk about what is good about it and what is bad about it in a minute. But as far as the hype, I think we've talked about how we felt going in. And we won't give away the surprise ending.
Yeah.
We don't have to. I mean, hopefully people... I mean, that's the best part of the movie. But, okay. So let me just say... I've always hated Ezra Miller, but I really, really hated Ezra Miller in this film.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of hating their performance as the normal current day Flash, I hated Ezra Miller as the funny 18-year-old wacky Flash. And the fact that, like you said, okay, I get it. They could have done this and they could have done it right with two different versions of the same character, but they could have also got Grant Gustin. Maybe they could have got a different... I don't know, but let's just talk about that. What did you think of Ezra Miller in this film?
Yeah, not great. I thought that they were fine as the main Flash.
Okay.
But you're right. The second Flash was insufferable. Like, it was awful, very painful. I don't think that it helped that half of the time one of the Flashes on screen looked awfully CGI'd. Like, I don't know why they needed to CGI it in the first place. Like, we have been like filming movies for decades now where one character plays two roles on, you know, in the same shot on the screen and it looks good.
Yep.
And if the technology is there and you can make it look good, fine. But the technology in this was not up to par, I thought. In most of this movie, it's pretty rushed, and you can tell that the budget was blown probably in different parts, bringing a bunch of actors in, like old returning actors. And I'm assuming there was a huge time crunch to getting this done, especially with the movie being finished. And then they went back and did rewrites and had to redo parts of the film. And, you know, it felt like way more than normal. This movie was rewritten and then, you know, new things were filmed and things were changed.
It's also been delayed many times. Many times. Yeah, you're right. The CGI looked horrendous. I think that's universally agreed upon, that the CGI looked unfinished.
Yeah.
It looked bad. Oh boy. The other thing too is, like, you know, in order to play a funny role, you kind of have to be funny. And Ezra Miller's not funny. I actually rewatched, what film were they in? It was not 40-Year-Old Virgin. Was it not that? No. It was Trainwreck. Trainwreck's a really good movie with Amy Schumer, and Ezra Miller was in that, but they were not funny. I mean, they're okay, but not great. So anyway, that's Ezra Miller. Like you said, insufferable. And when the star of the movie's insufferable, you've got a problem on your hands. Now let's talk about Michael Keaton as Batman. Now, I've loved Michael Keaton since Night Shift. He's always been one of my favorite actors. I followed his career, whatever. He was fine in this movie, but it was the writing and the directing. Now, let's think about this.
That's the thing, right?
Yes.
Like, I think that every time they gave this version of Bruce Wayne something new to do, it was great. Every time that he was supposed to be Batman, it was like it was a Doritos Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right,
Do you remember when they like brought Ferris Bueller back?
Yes.
And everybody's like, whoa. And it was like a Super Bowl commercial. Like, every single one of his lines where it was like a callback was,
you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Like, what are you... like, why would he say that? That's not a fucking Batman catchphphrase.
Exactly.
Like, he said it once, but it was because he was being Bruce Wayne, like, trying to be crazy at the Joker, like, and intimidate him, I guess. It just did not make any sense.
Can I also point out...
weird.
Right, and I saw that movie opening night in 1989. That was not like something that people walked away from saying. Like, it became something later, like 5, 10,
because it's kind of like a meme almost. Yes. Like it's like it's like a very weird quote. Yes. I don't know.
Right, exactly. It's embarrassing, and like the context was embarrassing. Now the other thing too is that if I've got Michael Keaton and I've got Batman. The thing about the thing about the Batman movie is it's not really, the script was okay, but it was the look. It was the Danny Elfman score. It was the Anton Furst architecture. It was the cinematography. So if you're gonna have a 1989 Batman, then you got to have a 1989 Gotham. You got to have the lighting. You've got to have the architecture. If anything from that movie made it great, it was the architecture and the art design. So what do? They stick him in a desert in broad daylight. How stupid can you be?
Bad, yeah.
Right? So it's like again, it's almost as crazy as having Indiana Jones and making him time travel, right? Like it's just clearly they don't understand the appeal of what that franchise was. They just completely drop the ball. Also, when Michael Keaton first shows up as Bruce Wayne in the Wayne Manor, clearly a body double leaping around the room and kicking and punching.
Sure.
That whole scene was idiotic. Yeah. Okay, fine. He's got the long hair. I don't know.
I did love the spaghetti.
It was okay. It was fine.
I thought that might have been my favorite part of the movie. But I also didn't enjoy much of this movie.
Yes. Right.
But I kind of like when they come up with another like new BS version of like time travel or multiverses. So having Michael Keaton, Bruce Wayne, explain like a sciencey thing with like something as mundane as spaghetti, and then like the spaghetti getting all cooked and then the pasta going on, like it's just kind of, I don't know. That's what I mean. I think when they gave him like new things and a purpose in the movie, I think it worked. But then after that, after explaining like what is going on with the multiverse stuff, he doesn't really add much to anything going on. They could have just used the Batcave and the tools and everything would have been the same.
Can I also point out, I just had this new thought just now. Batman is the world's greatest detective, okay? If the Flash said or did something that gave Batman a clue that would make him figure out that spaghetti analogy, that would have been good. But somehow Bruce Wayne is an expert on time travel and dimensions. Why? Bruce Wayne has no superpowers, and I'm assuming in this reality, Batman would not have had much interaction with time travel in multiple dimensions.
That's fair.
It doesn't fit his character at all, right? So it makes no sense. But they had to give him something to do, and they had to have someone explain it. So we'll give it to him. Okay, fine. Okay, so they drop the ball on Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go and they rescue Supergirl. Now, I actually thought, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Is it Sasha Cal?
I think so.
I thought she was great.
Yeah.
I thought she was fine as Supergirl. And that's a character I would like to see again. Unfortunately, she's probably rebooted out of this continuity.
Probably.
DC continuity. But she was totally fine. I'd like to see her again. No complaints about her. None. As far as the other characters, there's not too many other, we have Michael Shannon as Zod back again. He was great. Minor characters. Yeah,
I mean they could have used old footage from Man of Steel and it wouldn't have made a difference because he didn't, besides coming to Earth and wanting to destroy it, he had no part of the story. They could have just had it be any Kryptonian. It could have just been his goons there. You're right. You're right. But he was fine. Like for what he did.
Right. I mean, that's the thing is there's not really many other actors to mention because there's his parents
Juicy Clemens
were fine.
And Iris West. She was fine in the few scenes she was in at the beginning. Yeah.
Right. Ron Livingston, whom we all love from Swingers and Office Space, as Henry Allen, Barry's father. I'm not sure if you've seen Swingers.
Yeah.
Great movie. Go see it. Who else is in this movie? No one. Okay, so we're going to skip right to the... Go ahead.
We also have Ben Affleck, who is playing Batman again.
Another Batman,
he feels so bored here.
Yeah.
And I don't think that this was the effect that they were looking for, but when I heard that, pardon my language, when I heard that fucking Wonder Woman music, I bursted out laughing. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, it's at this point, it's a joke that they're like, how are we going to save these heroes? We'll just throw in, we'll just have the Wonder Woman music play. I'm sure Gal Gadot's not doing anything.
And she was also already in Shazam.
Shazam, yeah. I think she showed up in everything almost at this point.
Well, it's because her movie was the most well received. But funny enough, Aquaman's was the most popular, so I don't know why he didn't have a bigger role in this, but whatever. You're right. Yeah. Everything just screams desperation. Even with, and I don't want to get into the Justice League movie again, and I know that Joss Whedon reshot scenes for the theatrical cut, but all of those cameos, like Wonder Woman saving the people in the bank, although I think that was in the Snyder Cut too, everything just felt like, almost like, you remember when George Lucas, when he did Phantom Menace, it was one thing. Then when he did Attack of the Clones, everything was a reaction. Like, oh no, you didn't like Jar Jar, we'll take him out. And then Disney did the same thing. Last Jedi, like, oh, you didn't like Rose Tico, we'll take her out. Like, everything just felt like we're gonna do everything we can to please you. It was just, everything was so desperate, eh?
Yeah.
So, okay, so as we said, now here's the thing. There's aspects of the movie I want to talk about. I did not like the visualization of the time travel thing, of like whenever Flash would kind of like be in that little dimension where you could see everything around him.
Bubbles.
I didn't like that at all. I didn't like it.
I thought that it was a fine visual idea to explain that he is going back in time, but it was not executed well at all.
No. Yeah, like they obviously have to show it somehow, but it didn't work for me at all. Yeah. And then, okay, it's funny because, again, this is something I didn't think of until just now, but at the end of the movie, I admit that I was a sucker, and when they brought back all those old characters like Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater and everyone, I was one of the ones who was like, oh, this is so good. Like, I didn't think it was good, but I still, I got the feels. But looking back, considering how terrible the CGI was, why didn't they just use footage from the original films? Like,
do you know that they brought Nicolas Cage in?
Really? Really?
They brought Nicolas Cage in. They got the original person that was the original costume designer from Superman Lives to come in and recreate and build the Superman Lives costume so they could put Nicolas Cage in, and they still CGI'd over his face to make him young. Hey, why? Because we didn't see him young. You didn't need to cut back to that movie. Just make it Nicolas Cage. Because I genuinely thought that it was just a CGI Nicolas Cage. That's how bad the like de-aging CGI mask was over top of it. I didn't realize.
Exactly. That's exactly, because I thought it was CGI too. So you're right. It's like, why not just have, and if you're going to go through the trouble of bringing him back, give him one line or something. Just have, like, and I was going to say have him in the whole movie, but I'm assuming this was a reshoot. Okay, fine. You had to rush it. But still, have him come back and give him one line and have him in a real environment. You're right. The fact that they didn't CGI'd over him is idiotic.
So weird.
Apparently, they brought back, what's his name? The Jay Garrick Flash. But the actor who played Jay Garrick in the Flash said, that wasn't me. So who was it? Well, there's a theory it was nobody. It was just AI CGI bullshit, right? Again, idiotic. I don't know.
Who else did they bring back?
They brought back
Adam West.
Adam West. Yeah. They brought back George Reeves as Superman. There's a bunch of people, and again, I know what they were going for, but it just fell flat. And then there's a big stinger at the end, which I thought was great, which we're not going to talk about.
Sure, yeah.
But in the end, it's almost embarrassing because just like the end of Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, all these callbacks amounted to nothing. No one cared. And it's so sad because, I don't know, I mean, again, I feel sorry for Michael Keaton because I followed his career since the beginning, and he probably thought, okay, here's my Act 3. Now I'm going to be doing Batman again. Now, but it's over. Like, Batgirl was erased. Batman Beyond, which was a possibility, that was canceled. And
yeah, apparently that was a possibility. If The Flash was successful, they were going to try working on a Batman Beyond film, which I think sounds great. Like, out of everything that DC wants to do, like, that feels the most interesting, because they can make it its own story and they don't have to like tie it into anything else. But anyways,
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of some of these things and these cameos, but it also like, why did it happen when it did? Like it was when they were like going back in time and like fixing all of this stuff, right? But these characters are just kind of like watching the Flash, I guess. Like it just.
You're right. At least
so
if they would have
strange.
helped them, right? If it would have helped them, like done something.
Right. Or maybe these things are like the characters are, you're seeing Nicolas Cage in his world, and he's kind of just like saving the day, grabbing some crooks. And then as the Flash keeps using time travel, you're seeing other universes. Oh, now Nicolas Cage, that's weird. He's like, an alien ship is like going to Earth in his universe. Oh my God, there's a giant mechanical spider. Like now everything that I'm doing is destroying their universe. Right. No, it was just like this big, weird cameo fun fest where they're just standing there and looking into the camera, and they're doing like a 360 shot of them to be like, look it.
Let's just say that in this age, right now, we're in the middle of this crisis with AI. This is what happens when you don't have a writer. Because I'm going to guess, because let's be clear, all those scenes, they didn't require a writer. They required a CGI guy or an AI guy going, create scene with Superman, but they don't actually contribute to the story. The scenes themselves have no content other than just, like you said, staring at the camera.
Right. I'm not convinced that this is an AI thing, because if this has been in development for so long too, AI hasn't been around.
Okay, sure.
That sort of technology, but I think that the problem is a studio mandate problem.
Yes,
that's what's going on here.
Right.
They hired somebody to do the movie. They didn't like how they were doing it, so they went in and changed the script. The movie was done. They did testings. People didn't like it in the test screening, so they're okay. Let's add a bunch of other things. Oh, we're gonna bring Henry Cavill back, and we just signed him on for a 10-picture deal. Let's sign Ben Affleck too, so we'll bring him back into the movie. After they do those reshoots, we're actually gonna reboot everything. We're actually gonna can all of these actors and bring in new ones anyway. So it's like, let's rewrite it a little bit. Let's bring in then just so there's more cameos and it's more fun and we'll bring in more people.
Spoiler.
I also just spoiled that. Sorry.
It's okay. I can cut that out. But anyway.
Okay. But it's just like, it just is so, I don't know. It
desperate.
reeks. Yeah. It reeks of the studio need, and Warner Brothers is suffering. Yeah. They're suffering so much. Did you know that Aquaman 2 is supposed to come out this year?
Oh yeah, I know.
In December. They just released a trailer now.
I thought has it come out? I thought it comes out Thursday. You're saying it's already out now?
Oh, maybe it comes out Thursday. Yeah, maybe Thursday. It's not out yet.
But I know what you're saying. Like they're spinning out of control. They're losing money. They actually, I think they bragged. Like, oh, we just saved $100 million on the strike. Then they're like, oops, we lost $250. Well, guess what, guys? A year from now and 2 years from now, when there's no movies because you haven't made anything, you're going to be screwed. That's what's going to happen. And all these small companies like A24 that are following the SAG-AFTRA guidelines and producing movies, when there's all these holes in the schedule, those films are going to make money. Good. Yeah. I hope these CEOs all die homeless and penniless in the streets. I hate them all. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So we've talked about the horrendous ending. Geez, what else is there? We've got to mention at least some things we liked. I actually liked the bit where Ezra Miller, what happens? There's a part where the Flash has to start. Oh, because the Flash has to run, but for some reason there's a scene where the Flash is in like a bank. Or Ezra Miller's like running around, and it's like Ezra Miller has to run, but we can see that it's just like the actor just running around. But they have no superpowers.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That was well done because it was practical and it was just like a funny camera far away shot.
Sight gag type.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was good. I liked some of the stuff with Michael Keaton again when he was not being the Batman. It was great hearing the Batman musical cues.
Sure.
I thought that they did a pretty darn good job of recreating Wayne Manor, and the Batcave I thought looked fantastic.
Oh, yes.
All that stuff in there was great visually. I kind of liked that they had to recreate the storm to give Flash his powers after he lost them. Like that whole kind of scene was pretty fun, and then having Supergirl come in and kind of bring him back up to finish with like the lightning. That's kind of fun. There wasn't much else. Can we talk about the awful baby scene? The awful opening scene with the baby saving the babies and the dog.
First of all, that whole scene was crap. It was shit. Everything
awful.
was shit.
Just so bad.
The CGI was shit. The idea was shit. Like even like I understand the joke of like, oh, I'm gonna order my coffee and then go do this adventure and come back in like a split second.
Sure.
But it was all done terribly. Running around and jumping on things and everything looked like shit. The babies all look like cartoon characters. Yeah, it was garbage. I agree.
And I thought it's an interesting idea to have the opening of the movie. You show how your character's powers work, right? So we're seeing this gadget on his wrist that shows that he's low on energy. So everything around him is going to start moving faster. So he has less time now to save all of these babies. Right. So instead of saving the first baby, he actually grabs a snack, which is like kind of funny, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he gets more energy, so now he can move faster. So it looks like everything around him is moving way slower. It's really creative idea to show your character's powers without having to like sit them down and be like, look, idiot, this is how this works. Why not bring that back in the movie? Why is that not a thing that is brought back by the finale? You know what I mean? Like it feels like it was a setup for something. Like,
is it possible that whole scene was added later? It could have been.
It could have been. Yeah,
right.
I have no idea, but it just seems like such a great setup that had no payoff, and on top of that, it looked like shit. Like it looked awful, right?
Garbage.
So,
it looked like garbage.
Oh yeah, that was really rough. Especially since too, like you kind of see that when the new Flash gets his powers, he gets tired immediately or whatever. He eats a snack, but it should be something story wise that like is a resolution by the end. Right. Maybe when he's fighting the like demented version of the Flash, he's like jumping from universe to universe and like eating things as they're like running through the dimensions to tire the other one out because he knows not to eat, or he doesn't know to eat to like replenish his energy. Like it's something like I don't know.
Well, it's as if the movie was badly written. Also,
almost.
Okay, I love James Gunn, but here's a point against James Gunn. Apparently, like James Gunn announced, or he tweeted that The Flash is one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. Like before it came out, and everyone was like, "Really? Okay, we don't believe you, but we'll see." So the movie comes out, it bombs, but before it bombs, they say that Andy Muschietti, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Muschietti, is slated to direct the Batman Brave and the Bold film. I am going to gamble and say he's not. He's going to be pulled off that assignment. Now, whether or not you think this movie is good or not, there's so much bad like mojo connected to this film. I personally don't think he's going to do it. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's definitely a lot of time to take him off. Because that's also not supposed to be coming out for quite a while, right? Like, I think the Superman movie isn't supposed to come out for another 2 years, and that's supposed to be the first one,
right.
And obviously, that's also been put on hold at this point. So
because of the strike,
so
there's definitely
it's not likely,
right? I just think that because of the bad karma, they'll just say no. We like. clearly this is not working. We've got to, again, start fresh. And hey, DC, again, you have The Batman by Matt Reeves that's successful, and they don't build on it. They've already said it's not part of the continuity. Now, maybe that was Matt Reeves saying, I don't want to mix my Batman in with the Flash and Aquaman, which makes sense because, as my friend Sean Ty used to say, shared universes don't work, and he's right. They don't work in live action. I'm sorry, I don't think they work. If you're going to keep the tone of the Tim Burton Batman, it cannot mix with Aquaman and Superman. I don't think.
I think, yeah, in certain circumstances, I think it works, and then in others it doesn't. When you're mixing things like this, like Tim Burton's world with the Zack Snyder verse, like that does not make sense. When you're establishing things in one universe, this shared universe, like the Avengers, I think you can. Like I don't think there's any argument that the Avengers doesn't work.
No, I agree with that. You're right. Avengers does work, but I think it's to the detriment of the individual characters because, for example, the Hulk is in the Avengers, but the Hulk worked better in the 1970s TV show where he was a monster that was potentially killing innocent people because he was a monster, right? Yeah. Now this Hulk is like all friendly and he's intelligent, right? But
and I would like to say to Andy or Andreas Muschietti, I think that's how you say it, the director. I don't also necessarily believe that this is his fault either. Like, I feel like he cannot. There's not one person responsible for the downfall of this movie. I feel like it is so many things. So
okay, that's true. Oh, by the way, it's pronounced Muschietti. I just looked it up. Yeah, Muschietti, I think.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You're actually right, but I will also say that I wasn't a fan of It. Okay, I did not like the It films.
I liked the first one quite a bit. Yeah.
But okay, if that's the vibe you're going for, which is kind of like Stranger Things, family friendly, fine, no problem. And the tone of some of this movie worked. Don't get me wrong. The tone worked for The Flash. But that is not the tone for Batman at all. So why use him for Batman? Like Matt Reeves suits the Batman. David Fincher would suit Batman. You know, the film noir thing is what you want for Batman, if you ask me. So I don't know why they're using this guy. Doesn't make any sense, but
I mean, Tim Burton was also like a horror-ish director, right? And then took over Batman. So I don't know. If there's a vision, I think it could work. Yeah, but with DC and Warner Brothers track record, they're gonna have their little fingers all in this. So it's I don't think that it's going to be successful necessarily. Like, but if one director was allowed to just have full creative control over it, I think it could be great.
It could be, yes.
Could be. Yeah. We'll see. I don't have hope, honestly, for any superhero movies at this point.
Well,
even Marvel, I'm like, I think at this point I'm kind of like, it'll be fine. It'll be a fun little thing that you can sit down and watch, but it's not going to be this masterpiece movie.
Well, yes, and I felt that way for a while. I'm with you. I feel nostalgia fatigue and a little bit of superhero fatigue, and the numbers match our feelings. Like, as far as I can tell, box office is going down, ratings are going down. I'm not gonna be like the Chicken Little, the sky is falling thing. I'm not gonna go that far because there are success stories like Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man what's the second Across the Universe one called?
No Way Home.
No, Across the Universe, the animated one. Spider-Man.
Oh, Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Big hit. So there are hits, but there's too much Marvel. There's probably too much DC. There's too much Star Wars, right? So I think they're learning from their mistakes, hopefully, and they're slowing things down, which they have to do because there's too much to choose from. And like you said, when these trailers come out, I'm not excited anymore. I don't care. I don't have any faith that they're going to be great. So they've got to change gears. And James Gunn's announcements are a lot like the right idea because I like everything he's done. But so far, I don't think the public is convinced. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Right? Like, I love Peacemaker and I love The Suicide Squad. But I don't think that's enough. I think they need, like hit the level of Dark Knight where it just knocks everyone's socks off. And hopefully Superman Legacy is that, but I don't know if it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know? So let's just leave it at that. Let's just say that The Flash is one of the biggest box office bombs in history.
And I think rightfully so at this point.
Yeah, right. You're right.
Yeah.
Like, they deserve to lose. Michael Keaton deserved to win. But he went down with the ship, I guess.
Yeah, it's sad because a lot of people worked on this movie. A lot of good people, good artists, and they don't deserve this treatment and for something to be this unsuccessful. But the people in charge that are messing with like artists' visions just for the bottom line, that's when I'm like, now I'm almost rooting against the movie to be successful.
Exactly. So like we said, go out and watch the Flash TV show. Flashpoint is covered from season 1 to 3. It's resolved in season 3. Much better writing, much better acting, much better everything.
I've seen a few episodes of it. I actually might go start watching it now.
I'll tell you right now, the subplot, like The Flash is a very cheesy TV show, but the actual subplot of what happens in season 1 especially is so good. I can't believe anyone even thought of it. That's all I'm going to say. So I recommend it. It's good. And then the comic book is fine. It's not great, but go read the comic book. Go watch the animated version. There's better versions of the story out everywhere. I guess all we can do now is cross our fingers and hope that Aquaman 2 is not this bad. We'll see, right? But the trailer's going to drop a few days after this is recorded, so we'll see. But other than that, we are going to be reviewing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which will also not be released until the strike is over. We're going to be reviewing Aquaman 2. We're going to be reviewing what else is coming out. Is that it? Kraven?
If we're releasing this in chronological order, we'll also be reviewing Barbie and Blue Beetle.
Yes.
Because we have already reviewed it, but that'll be coming out soon.
Right. And then
trying to think if there's been anything else.
Don't forget Kraven. That's the most important.
Is that still coming out? I had assumed it would have just been canceled by now.
No, it's not canceled. It's coming out, so look forward to that.
In 2024. Yeah, it's been... I think it's been... I don't know. It's weird.
No,
it says release date October 6th.
Yeah.
So you're saying in less than a month this movie's coming out?
Kraven is coming out.
This thing had to have been delayed again.
No. Kraven film. Okay, folks, we're going to waste your time.
IMDb says 2024.
Okay. Well, Wikipedia
Expected
says...
August 30th, 2024.
August 30th? Why? It got delayed. Why did it get delayed? Oh, because of the strike, probably. Okay. Probably because no one can promote it. Yep, it's because of the strike.
This desperately needs to be promoted.
Wow.
Nobody cares about this
because no one's going to see it. Okay, the trailer looks like shit. But anyway, there you go. And Josh, you can take it from here.
Oh, yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast and our reviews. You can find all of our stuff on our website at thecomicbooksyndicate.com. All of our stuff is also over on YouTube and Facebook. We're like slowly kind of transitioning to video podcasts.
Yes.
So
not today, but other ones.
Yes. Yeah, right. But if you've been listening to some of our comic book podcasts and you're looking for some visuals and to see kind of what we're specifically talking about, you can find all of our stuff over on our YouTube channel as well. So leave us a comment, leave us a review, let us know what you guys think about the stuff we're talking about. Let's keep that comics conversation going.
All right, and until the next time, see you later.
All right.